How's it going, ladies and gentlemen? My name is Ruffle Rowlet, and welcome back to a brand new video, guys. Today, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to take a look at something I think you guys will enjoy. We're going to take a look at what Ash's team, my prediction, so to say, for what Ash's team is going to be like in Pokemon Sword and Pokemon Shield. If you guys do enjoy this video, make sure to drop a like down below and subscribe for future videos, guys. And also, if you want me to do a video on Goes, which is the new, like, rival, I guess, or I'm not sure if rival or partner is really the better word, but basically the rival to Ash in these upcoming new Pokemon anime. So, quick thing, by the way, also, if you're under 13, leave this video. I do not want any kids watching this. If you're a child, just leave. This video is not for you. F off. Alright, I'm not even going to say the general word there. I'm just going to say later into the video. But, yeah, just get out of this video, okay? Just get out of here if you're under 13. I do not want to see you in this video. I'm just saying I don't want to see you watching this, okay? Because you'll cause issues to me, like for any other YouTubers. Unfortunately, I'm sorry, lads, but that's just how it is. So you'll just have to leave because COPPA's a problem. So yeah, just a heads up on that one. Either way, let's get to the actual content of the video, shall we? So, starting off with first things first, guys, which is that the obvious Pokemon that Ash is going to have in this team, starting off from the scratch, which we've already seen from the first episode, as per usual, is going to be Pikachu, right? Pikachu is a guaranteed Pokemon to be in Ash's team. There is no questioning about this one. Like, honestly, there's no questioning as to if it's going to be there or not. Like, we pretty much know it's going to be in his team. Now, as for which starter from, like, you know, in particularly, like, which starter he could go for from, like, the Galar region itself, as we already know, Go uses Scorbunny, so Scorbunny is definitely not in the equation, which means we can definitely count that one out. I do think the starter, though, that he will go with will definitely be Sobble. Now, why do I say this? Well, I don't know why, but, like, I feel like the final evolution for Sobble will fit well with Ash in this journey. We've already seen they're gonna travel around the whole world, right? So it doesn't mean that, like, throughout his journey, that he's just gonna encounter new Pokemon from, like, the Galar region. But if we were to go with specifically Galar Pokemon that he would have in his team, I think one of them would definitely be this one. I think definitely would make sense for Sobble to be one of those Pokemon, right? Now again, like I said, there's no guarantee for how this is going to work, right? Because the last, you know, generation anime was, you know, the Sun and Moon one, the Alola one, right? Where he only mainly used, like, Pikachu from, like, you know, previous gen, from Gen 1, and then every other Pokemon, I'm pretty sure, was a Generation 7 Pokemon. Yes, of course, because you had, like, what, Rowlet, Litten, I guess, Meltan, and a few other Pokemon, like Lycanroc and whatnot. So, my point is basically that, you know, it makes sense that, you know, he'd be able to, like, in this generation as well, have a few Gen 8 Pokemon, because it is the Gen 8 anime. But then again, as you may notice with this new anime, they are traveling around the whole world, so who knows how they're gonna actually, like, portray that in the general sense of the word. But I think Sobble, and actually, I think even potentially, he could get his hands on another Pokemon starter from, you know, this gen, which would be Grookey. Now, I do think, though, that Sobble might be the Pokemon of his, the starter, that may stay in its, like, base form, what I mean by that is basically it's gonna just stay as Sobble, right? Like, I think it's just gonna stay as Sobble and not evolve beyond that. But I think he might get his hands on a Grookey as well that will evolve into a Rillaboom. I actually think a Rillaboom is highly likely to be in his team. And now, why do I say this? Well, I don't know. It feels like the perfect Pokemon for him to use in, like, battle. I can imagine this, like, in like a tournament part of the, you know, like, if Ash is, like, in the league or whatever. I can just see in my head him having to use this Pokemon, like, in his team. Like, I can definitely, like, imagine it, right? Like, I can see the picture in my head of what that would be like. So, I can definitely imagine this being a Pokemon that will be in his team. Now, the next ones here on the list are a little bit iffy, because I feel like he may need to have at least one starter from Galar, but I think the rest of his team may end up actually being, like, Pokemon from previous gens, right? Like generation, you know, generation 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, you know, etc. I mean, potentially even Ash Greninja could return, right? Like, that is a possibility. You never really know. So, what I'm trying to get across here is that, you know, there's always that possibility that, like, something may show up, like, you know, something like that may show up. But you never really know. So I will say here that the likeliness of Ash Greninja in particular, like, actually showing up is not very, very likely, to put it in blunt terms. It is not very likely, so I'll put it here on the side as a potential thing that could happen, but not guaranteed, right? Like, just something that potentially could happen, but is nothing that's guaranteed for us, so to say. So there you go. So yeah, I'd put, like, Ash Greninja over there as a potential Pokemon. Another one that's definitely high potential is Ash's Charizard. So, like, having Charizard in here as well would make sense to me, because, there, again, it's a Pokemon that highly feels likely that it could show up. No guarantees, of course, like nothing confirms that it's gonna happen, but there is always a chance because it's such a hyper popular Pokemon, and you know, it's just such a very popular Pokemon, and they've already brought it back in the past, so it wouldn't really be strange to see them return it again in, you know, in this new series, so to say. It wouldn't be really surprising. But these are two Pokemon I can definitely see coming back. Like, I'm not sure, I mean, Greninja could maybe come back just because of popularity. Like, generally, I don't think it would come back that likeliness, like highest likeliness. I think Charizard's way more likely to show up in like some of the other Gen 1 starters. And why do I say Gen 1 starters? Well, because we actually have a confirmation from the trailer that Ash will actually have a Charmander, Bulbasaur, and Squirtle around him in one of the trailer, like in one of the parts of the trailer, they show that off. So I think it's highly likely he will actually have a Charizard in his team, like an actual Charizard will be in his squad. So I think we can actually add this one in to the list here and actually, like, honestly pretty much assume that, yeah, Charizard will probably be in his team, I could say. But, like, then again, at this point, we might have too many starters, so we may need to switch a few things out. Like, for example, we can take Rillaboom and switch that out for Charizard and keep Sobble instead as the Generation 8 starter. But then, I think we can fill this in with, you know, with another new Pokemon, which will be Graplock. Now, why do I think Graplock? Well, I don't know, Ash has an affinity for having, like, sometimes, like, pretty decent, like, you know, fighting type Pokemon. Like, you know, if we just count in general, like, Halucha or, like, Primeape and that sort of stuff in the past, you know, I wouldn't be surprised if he had a Graplock, which is, I don't know, it feels like a design that kind of, like, in general sense, to me, it looks a bit like a wrestler with its, like, eye design, and it gives me, like, the kind of Halucha feeling, so I'm feeling like it could possibly be another Pokemon, like, that could end up in this position. But then again, it's like nothing is really confirmed, so again, I don't know. But I will say though, two Pokemon that we know it will show up in Ash's team here in some sense will be Bulbasaur, which we've already seen like prior. It showed up again in one of the trailers, so we will put Bulbasaur over here as well. Also Squirtle, because Squirtle like also did show up, but I feel like this time around, since he's going around the whole world, he will switch out his Pokemon more frequently. Like, I definitely feel like this is going to be one of the situations where, like, we won't see the same, you know, the same start or whatever used, like, several times over and over, you know, over and over. I feel like he will switch them out somewhat. But, for now, I feel like this is where we are kind of sitting, right? It's a little bit of a mixture of what we potentially could have and couldn't have. It's a little bit of a mishmash, right? Now, one of the Pokemon I think you also could get from Galar could actually be Toxtricity. Now, why do I say Toxtricity could be a potential one? Because, honestly, as a Pokemon, like, it is so freaking cool, and I have a hard time, you know, seeing that Ash not having it in his team. Like, of course, he doesn't always have the coolest of Pokemon in his team, but I just feel like this is one of those Pokemon that definitely could end up in his team, because it's so, like, small, like, its pre-evolution is so small and tiny and whatnot, and I could definitely see Ash, like, picking one up on his journey, just being like, oh, this thing is adorable, and it's just, like, this, like, you know, little poisonous electric type, and he picks it up, and it's just gonna be, like, you know, like a little strange thing to have in his team. Or, he may not go for Toxtricity, and we may just end up getting like a permanent, you know, one of the starters permanently, like for example Bulbasaur in here, which would honestly not be that surprising. It would actually be pretty reasonable in all general terms. And the final one could potentially be your boy. Let's just get him there. There we go. Now, why do I think Rookie D? Well, I think Rookie D as a bird Pokemon, because Ash tends to have the birds from the generations, like you know, Pidgeot, etc., Staraptor, you know, insert, like, whatever, but you get the point. Basically, he tends to have the bird Pokemon, and I wouldn't be surprised if he gets a Rookie D and eventually evolves it into a Corviknight, or maybe just, like, the middle stage. Like, sometimes that happens with Ash's Pokemon, where they only stay in the middle stage, don't go all the way till the end, but I can definitely see him having a Rookie D, because it's just one of those, like, bird Pokemon that just makes sense to me to show up in his team. Like, it doesn't seem like it's a strange Pokemon or something out of the ordinary, to put it in blunt terms, right? So yeah, I would love to know, ladies and gentlemen, what you guys think about, like, the general gist of that. Like, do you think it makes sense for the bird to be in his team? And do you think that like there will be any impact on the team based on the fact that, you know, this anime is basically almost like, I mean, I'm not sure if we should call it like a reboot. People are saying, like, we shouldn't call it a reboot, but the first episode is out, and it doesn't really give much of an indication of what it really is. But all the trailers seem to give, like, an indication, like, a feeling of, like, it being a reboot, and we already have been shown, you know, Bulbasaur, Squirtle, and Charmander, and I can definitely see, like, them following the same path as the past, right, redoing the same past things they've done, like, before, which is Ash gets his hands on a Charmander, or first Pikachu, then he gets a Charmander, then he gets a Squirtle, and then he gets, actually, is it Bulbasaur first? I cannot remember this. starters. Honestly, I'm not sure which one of them comes first. I think Charmander was first, but I might be wrong. Actually, it could have been Bulbasaur first. I don't remember, man. I haven't watched the first season in ages now, and I cannot recall anything. But all I do remember, though, is that the only one that evolved out of those 3 starters was Charmander, who went Charmeleon, got really mad, and then Charizard and got really angry, and basically messes around with, with Ash all the time. So I think highly possible something like this could happen. Maybe too many like starters essentially. I mean, I guess if you consider Pikachu a starter, which I don't know if, I guess you kind of have to, but it doesn't like, feel like one of those like normal starter Pokemon we used to, but it kind of is, right? It kind of is a starter Pokemon officially now. So, like, this would be too many starter Pokemon in all fairness, but I feel like since he's going to go through so many generations this time, so many regions, I think it's highly possible that this might be like maybe the base team he goes for, but then he'll switch it out over time. So I will do an update video for whatever like Ash, gets things like changed around in this team and all that, guys. And also, ladies and gentlemen, if you guys want to see me review the first episode of the Pokemon Sword and Shield anime, or the the new anime, the Pokemon anime, the new like Generation 8 one, if you want to see me do a review on the first episode, which actually has already popped up, if you want to see that, let me know in the comment section down below by commenting #review, and I will do a review of that latest episode, guys. So thank you so much for watching, ladies and gentlemen. If you did enjoy, drop a like down below. And yeah, this is my general gist of what the team could look like. Of course, Greninja could return because of being like fan favorites, but who knows? Maybe it will show up again. Maybe all the Pokemon, maybe all the old Pokemon will actually show up because he's going through all the generations over again. So maybe it will show up, but who knows? Ladies and gentlemen, either way, thank you so much for watching. My name is Waffle Rowlet. Have yourselves a great day, and bye-bye, ladies and gents. Peace out. Have a great day.